Hi, so I am Lara, and I made a video of my daughter and I making some of these pretty papers over the weekend. And I was really excited the way that these came out. This one's my favorite, I think. And a few of you had asked for me to make a video real quick showing how to make this happen and what tools are needed to do it. So I figured I would do that for you today. So here's just some of the papers we made. These are, I believe, 4x6, maybe, yeah, 4x6 papers. This is photo paper, ink, alcohol, water, and a straw. So let me just flip through some of these papers just to show you what they look like, and then we'll get started making one. It's really easy, really fun. My daughter had a blast doing this, and I admittedly did also. And you can do all kinds of things with these. You can turn them into greeting cards. You can turn them into tags for gifts. You can hang them up, frame them and hang them up. All sorts of wonderful things. So here's just some of the papers and how they came out. And now I'm going to show you how to make them. So the first thing you need is something that can catch your overspray. This right here is just the lid to a Christmas box that we had, a gift box. So I'm going to put this right here front and center. And then this was a free pack of photo paper that I got with my printer. And I can't tell, it says Canon, so it's Canon photo paper. And I'm going to put one of these down right in the middle. As you can see, we have a huge pack here, so there's all kinds of wonderful things we can do with that. The next thing you need, I have a jar that I use with my brushes for water, and then I have a smaller jar that I'm going to put rubbing alcohol in. The rubbing alcohol I get is 91% isopropyl alcohol. It works perfectly for this, and you don't need very much. So I usually just kind of, depending on how many I make, it's just one squirt there in the jar, not a whole lot. And then from there, you're going to need a few different brushes, paint brushes. These are really inexpensive brushes, Craft Smart, so they're Michael's brand brushes. And they work great. They come in a pack of like 5 or 6, and they have all different finishes and brush sizes. So I have a small round brush, I have a medium round brush, and then I have this kind of flat, floofy brush. I don't know if you can see that there. And then another thing is a straw, and that's to make some of these really cool, streaky, like these lines and stuff that go through. The straw works great for that. And then the final piece is my set of Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay inks. Now this set is Bombay Set 2, and it comes in all of these different colors. There's no black, there's no white, there's no silver or gold in here, but this is a pretty cool range. I've got some reds, some oranges, a couple yellows, aqua, blue, red violet, cherry red. So there's some really nice colors in here. And I think for this one, I'm going to start with the golden yellow, Bombay Golden Yellow India Ink, and some aqua. And I think I'll go with the, let's do red violet. So it's like a purpley red color. Beautiful color. And I'll put that aside. So now the first thing that you do is you want to take the larger brush and you want to soak your paper. And the reason why you want to soak your paper is because the ink will spread magically once you drop it from the bottle. So I like to soak kind of at an angle, and this also helps the paper lay flat when it's on your paper. Now this is photo paper, so it's not going to really absorb the water as much as regular paper, watercolors, acrylic paper, anything like that. So the whole point of this is to get that flow going from your ink. So make sure you shake up your ink A lot of times the ink will settle in the jar and it'll separate. So you just take a dropper and watch the dropper go and spread your ink all over your page. And I really love how it kind of sprays out like that. And then I'm going to take some of, actually I'm going to do the aqua next. So take some aqua. And you only need like a little drop, and there's a lot in these jars. So put a drop there, maybe another drop there. Watch it kind of bleed into the yellow. Maybe one more drop there. So now here's the fun part. You can take your straw and blow on the paper to make it kind of make those streaky motions. You can also use this to blend your colors. As you can see, I'm getting like a nice green there. Now once you create that line, it's really hard to get it to kind of spread out anymore. So what you can do is then take your brush that has the water and kind of make it spread out a little bit. Just kind of dab your brush on the paper and then blow some more. Obviously, the harder you blow, the more streaks you can get to come off your ink. Now, the other fun part that we had was watching the interaction that we had when you put rubbing alcohol. And all you have to do is just get your brush soaking wet and get a drop and just drop it where you want it to go. And what it does is it creates these kind of cells, and it makes the ink kind of move around and sort of bring that white back of the paper. And if your paper is curling or whatever, that's fine. It's not a big deal. What's really neat about this is that it won't go outside of the lines that you created originally with the water. So it kind of keeps everything in there. In those lines. A little bit might pop out once in a while, but this was my daughter's favorite part, watching the ink kind of spread around a little bit. You can also make more dots. Pick up a little bit of the ink with the alcohol and drop it and watch it interact and spread through. So it's kind of a neat little experiment that we decided we were going to have that day to see what happens with the ink, because it's not alcohol ink, it's India ink, to see what happens with the ink when it interacts with water versus alcohol. And now when this goes to dry, it's going to be a little tacky for a while. So you want to really just kind of leave it alone once you've decided what you're going to do. Now I'm going to take my brush with the water and I'm going to put a little water in some of these other places. You can also pick up your ink and spread it around that way with the water. The ink loves to flow into the water. It's really, really fun to watch that happen. So now I'm going to take my red violet. Just put a drop there, maybe a drop over here. You can see how it beads up here. The reason it beads up there is because that's where the alcohol is. This was where the water was. So we'll have to play with, and here's a spot where there's no liquid at all, and it beads up there as well. It wants to find the water, and it wants to flow. So your first step, if you want to move it around a little bit, is take some of the water and kind of drag the ink wherever you want it to go, maybe into some of these white spots up here. And you can see it's turning a little more purple. That's because I picked up some of that aqua. If I picked up more of the yellow, it would probably turn a little more orange. So I'm just right now just trying to spread the ink out a little bit, get it kind of flowing. And you can see the layers of the aqua and the red violet kind of coming together. Here it makes it a little more purple. And then over here, because we had no liquid, it's going to pretty much behave as if we dropped it on the liquid because we're just using the water first. The water can pick up any of the other clay that you have, or the other ink that you have, make your other colors. And you can see those circles are still kind of staying there because I made those with the alcohol. So I'm just going to finish playing, see what I can come up with here. And then I like to try to cover the whole paper. And then I will drop a few more drops of alcohol. The good news is that the ink itself would dry very quickly as soon as it touches the paper. But when you have it with the water doesn't actually dry as quickly. The alcohol will make it dry quicker. I like to watch it flow, just kind of do its thing. Okay, now I'm going to take some alcohol and just put a drop and watch those cells show up. And what's really neat is that if the ink dried underneath where you were, it won't actually reduce it back to the white. It only reduces it back to the color that was dried underneath. So it's kind of like undoing what you were doing. And your edges are going to collect your ink because the paper is going to curl, and that's okay. You can just kind of tap and see what comes of it. And then when you're done, you take some tissue paper or paper towel and just kind of barely touch those edges so that you don't have ink pools along the entire piece. In some places it's okay if you want to keep those ink pools there. And that's what happens when you're absorbing the ink and such. And then sometimes if you want to pick up the ink from a pool in the middle, you can do that. And depending on your paper towels that you use, some of them have really interesting patterns on them. If you lay it down, it'll absorb and leave that pattern behind. So that's kind of fun too. And then the other thing that I really love about these inks, and you don't have to buy the whole set. You can just do, you know, buy them individually or pick a few colors and that match up with your room or whatever it is that your favorite colors are. And there you go. That's it. Real quick, real easy. And when it dries, which doesn't take very long, like I said, the top surface is going to be a little tacky, and one of my upcoming experiments is going to involve using a type of gold or silver leaf that once it starts to get a little tacky, you can lay that down, and on the places where the ink is the darkest, when you put that down and pull it off, it leaves behind some gold or silver, iridescent, whatever color you decide you want to pick. And I wanted to show you, I've already got one of these as the background of my phone. So I made some phone wallpaper out of this one. So there's the original piece, and then there's the wallpaper for my phone. So there's all kinds of great things you can do, and it's one of a kind. It's original. Nobody's ever going to be able to copy you or make the exact same piece of art. You won't even be able to make the same exact piece of art twice. So let me know if you give this a shot and what you think. Have a great day.